happened here?
Hasn't happened yet.
We're living in a twilight world. That's the password the protagonist, played by John David Washington and company, use in Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan mind-bender, now playing only in theaters. But the movie's premise is more Twilight Zone than Twilight World. The movie opens with a breathless and very loud rescue sequence in an opera house in Ukraine, the first of the movie's several eye and ear-popping action sequences. At stake is a mysterious component, part of a much larger device with the power to end the world.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors. Some of the wrong ones, too.
The protagonist is tasked with piecing together the potentially world-ending puzzle.
To do what I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
So far, Tenet feels like an elaborate James Bond-style story complete with exotic locations, enigmatic characters, and a world that needs saving. Then, things get complicated. The protagonist isn't simply dealing with the usual spy stuff like international intrigue, a Russian oligarch, or femme fatales. He's fighting against something called inversion, a disturbance in the very fabric of time that sees material running backwards through time while the rest of the world moves forward. So, in the upside-down story of Tenet, an inverted weapon could affect the past as well as the present. It's a reversal of the way that we think of linear time. It's not time travel. The protagonist doesn't jump back to ancient Egypt for a quick chat with Cleopatra or zip forward to talk to his 100-year-old self. When he inverts, he's in the moment, but running counter to everybody else.
Time travel.
No. Inversion.
Aim it and pull the trigger. You're not shooting the bullet, you're catching it.
Whoa. Well, I've seen too much. Well, we'll try and keep up.
Teamed with a shadowy operative named Neil, played by Robert Pattinson, the protagonist enters a topsy-turvy world of high-end art, down and dirty dealings with a strongman named Andre Storr, played by Kenneth Branagh, and a clock that is moving backwards and forwards simultaneously. You have a future in the past, Neil says to the protagonist, while we all scratch our heads a little bit. At the center of the action is John David Washington, hot off his Golden Globe Best Actor nomination for BlacKkKlansman. He's in every scene, and whether he's wearing a Brooks Brothers suit in one of the film's funniest exchanges or hanging off the side of a building, he's a convincing action hero with acting chops. It's a demanding role, and he pulls it off with equal parts bravado and restraint. It takes swagger to anchor a movie like this, but in his relationship with Kat, played by Elizabeth Debicki, he reveals a flirtier, more tender side. The protagonist is a well-rounded character, and if they don't do Tenet 2, Time Gone Wild, perhaps his name could be added to the short list of 007 candidates. The supporting cast, Branagh as the, quote, all our lives are in his hands, end quote, villain, and Debicki as his beleaguered wife, and Pattinson as the calm, cool, and collected mercenary, all acquit themselves well, but Tenet's real star is Christopher Nolan. For blockbuster-starved audiences, Nolan delivers the kind of spectacle we're used to seeing in the summer months. As per usual, he avoids CGI whenever possible in favor of practical effects. The results are kind of eye-popping. The big set pieces, like an airplane driving through a building, don't have that kind of digital disconnect that often comes with computer-generated action. The show-stopping sequences are busy, exciting, but most of all, organic, and the sense of peril and pageantry that comes with that is really undeniable. Add to that Nolan's use of IMAX cameras, and you have wild action scenes that fill the big screen in every way. Now, with a complicated story comes some drawbacks. In the first hour, there's a lot of exposition. People ask questions. Do you know what a free port is? How does inversion work? While others take the time in detail to answer them, all in an effort to keep the audience in the loop. There's a lot of talk about theories and plans, but Nolan keeps things lively with lightning fast, and I mean that with a capital F, pacing. Now, will you understand the puzzles of Tenet's time manipulation story? Maybe, maybe not. It's definitely a movie that will hold up to multiple viewings, revealing new information and fostering more understanding of the plot each time.
What the hell happened here?
Hasn't happened yet.
The trippy last hour is jam-packed with artfully arranged action sequences that manipulate time in increasingly psychedelic ways, and while you may feel lost in time as the movie careens toward the end of its 150-minute running time with an involved and inversive climax that weaves the fabric of the past into the protagonist's mission, you may also wish that you could invert time and relive the story again. And you can, for the price of a ticket. Tenet opens in over 70 countries worldwide, including Canada and Europe, starting on Wednesday, August 26th.